Okay, we're back. Here's a question of the day here. We're going to look at some algebra. And they give us that x plus y quantity squared is 30 and x times y is equal to 7. And they want to know what the value of x minus y quantity squared is. And they kind of have to give us some answers. So think about it for a couple seconds, see if you can solve it. If not, we'll come back and we'll solve it together. Alright, so we're back. Give us some information. Want to know the value of something. Big thing here on these tests, when they ask you, always look at what they're asking you. That's the first thing I would do. I would glance at what they give me, but I wouldn't necessarily play around up there quite yet. I like to always ask at what they're giving me and see, or I always look to, I always like to look at what they're asking me, and I like to always try to simplify that. A lot of this test, we're always just trying to get what's in front of us in more simple terms. So x minus y squared. Right? The one thing we absolutely do not want to do, we see this a lot, where we just distribute the 2 to the x and the y. Don't do that, right? Because this is the same as x minus y, x minus y. And if you would FOIL that out, right, that's going to be x squared minus 2xy plus y squared. So that, we know that's what that is. So that's what they want the value of. So you look at it, certainly they give us this, and we're going to need to use that eventually. Alright, so let's see. Well, we're looking. X times y is 7, so I could probably use that in there perhaps. But the first thing I want to probably try to do here, now that I've simplified this, I want to clean this up as well. I don't want to just leave that like that. Again, the last thing I want to do when there's addition or subtraction in those parentheses is just distribute the 2. So I'm going to clean up x plus y squared and see what that gives us. Right? That's x plus y, x plus y. And if I FOIL that, that's what that is. And now they've put a numerical value on that. They've told me that's 30. So I'm going to set that equal to 30. And then they've also told me that x times y is equal to 7. So we got a bunch of stuff going on here. We know this is true for sure. We're trying to make sense and get a number in there. Well, let's see. If x times y is 7, right, and I put that right there, I just substitute 7 there for xy, and I'm just going to move it over here now. I'm going to have what? I'm going to have x squared plus 2 times the 7, which is 14, plus y squared is equal to 30, right? And if I just move the numbers over, I'm going to get that x squared plus y squared is equal to 16. And so now I have this piece to go with this piece. And now I can probably take both of these pieces of information and take them up here. And let's see what we have. Well, we have an x squared plus a y squared, right? And we know that x squared plus y squared is 16. So that part is 16. And now I have to deal with this part, which is a negative 2xy. And I know that x times y is 7, so if I multiply that by a negative 2, right? Negative 2 times 7 is going to be a negative 14. And if I net that out, I'm just going to get a positive 2, which is there. So key takeaways here, make sure you do the algebra correctly. Just take your time. Look at what they're asking you. Try and simplify it. In this case, you're even going to have to simplify some of the stuff that's even given to you initially. So that's a pretty tough one. Lots of places where you can go wrong, but if you're careful, that should be a very gettable problem.